Mr. Kibbe might be the only man I have ever heard of to argue that size does matter. Alright, bro, it's your system. Let's get cozy, cause it's cold in this apartment. Hello and welcome to this little corner of the internet. My name is Melody. Today I just want to sit down and have a little chat, a cozy chat, cause I'm freaking cold, about my experience with the Kibbe ID body typing system and why I'm considering myself at the end of that journey. For those who are completely unfamiliar, have no idea what I'm talking about, the Kibbe ID system is pretty much just another body typing system, kind of like how most of us are familiar with the fruit system, which the fruit system is abysmal, don't even get me started. And it's based on the concepts of yin and yang and how that is presented in each individual's body, how that's manifested through their bone structure or the way their flesh is shaped. I really dislike the word flesh. I don't mind the word moist, but the word flesh is just like... And his work is based off of several other people's work. I'm not going to go into the details. If you want more information on this system, its history, how it works, I will leave links to other videos down in the description box where you can find that information. I don't really want to get too deep into what it is or how it works. I'm just here to talk about my experience with it and what I've learned from the process, because I have learned a lot. I initially was introduced to the system kind of just randomly through a recommendation on YouTube, and initially I really didn't give it much thought. I just thought it was interesting. My initial thought honestly was that I might fall within the naturals subcategory, probably because my profile picture at the time was this one where, I don't know, I just thought I looked very like strong, and the clothing that I'm wearing in that picture is a little bit more loose fitting and falls in line with some of the recommendations for the natural body type. So that was about a year ago, or a little more than a year ago, that I first got introduced to this system. And then a few more months went by, and probably late spring, early summer, I ended up taking 2 different versions of the body typing test, which most people will tell you don't bother with them. They really aren't very accurate. But I didn't know that at the time, so I took the test AlyArt has on her channel, and I got Dramatic Classic. And then probably a couple months later, I took the test on Cozy Rebecca, which is a blog, and got Flamboyant Gamine. The Flamboyant Gamine description felt like a slightly better fit. I wasn't resistant to Dramatic Classic coming from that first test, but for whatever reason, the Flamboyant Gamine recommendations felt a little bit better. And so for a good 6 months or so after that, I started playing around with Flamboyant Gamine line recommendations and have found that I actually like a lot of them. A lot of those recommendations I feel comfortable in. I feel like they suit my personality, but I still wasn't 100% sure. I don't know why it was so important for me to be 100% sure. So that's what led me to what this video, what the heck? So that's what led me to what this video was originally going to be. A couple weeks ago, I filmed a few short clips of me in several different outfits that I put together trying to copy what the line recommendations would be for several different types. And honestly, it was really hard to create outfits for these different types because there is so much overlap, sometimes in the recommendations and also just within the limits of my own wardrobe. So I want to briefly explain how I chose the different types that I would be trying on outfits for using this matrix that you'll sometimes see. So I went ahead and I just crossed off romantic all the way at the far yin end of the spectrum, and I went ahead and crossed off dramatic at the far yang end of the spectrum because I just know I am neither of those two. I also went ahead and crossed off theatrical romantic and soft dramatic because those ladies have a certain, shall we say, va-va-voom quality that I do not. And then I also crossed off flamboyant natural. Just based on the descriptors and types of clothes that are supposed to work for this type, it doesn't suit me. I don't really like how I look in flamboyant natural lines, so I just went ahead and ruled that out, which left me with these 5 types. And again, Flamboyant Gamine and Dramatic Classic are 2 that I got from tests previously. So that's how I got to the outfits that I decided to try out for what was supposed to be this video. So let's take a look at those now. Also, I'm really sorry for how bad the exposure is in this upcoming section. It's something my phone just decided to do on its own every time I turn my head to the side, and I didn't really know how to fix it. So you're gonna have to just deal with me looking like Ronald McDonald's daughter for the next few minutes. Sorry. So this is kind of considered like a backwards way of determining your type, but I think if you're stuck between 2, it can be illuminating to see how different clothing lines look on yourself. So for soft natural, I realized a lot of my like loungewear, just casual things, probably fall within the natural family. Loose t-shirts, loose cardigans, and then I have some longer dresses that would probably fall in that family as well. Like, I don't think this dress looks awful on me, but it's not the best either. Getting rid of the straps that fall down on the shoulders makes it a lot better. Actually, just in general, I don't like wrap dresses on myself. They're supposed to be the most universally flattering dress silhouette, but I hate them. So the outfits for soft classic that I put together, I kind of had a hard time with this because I didn't have as many items that fit this category, but like this one with the silky little blouse, oh, I hate this on myself. Yeah, it feels too soft. I don't like it. I thought this would be a good soft classic dress just because of the frills on the shoulders, and go figure, that's the element of the dress that I think suits me the least. I still like this dress. I'm still gonna wear it. So that at least did rule out soft classic for me. Dramatic classic. I kind of had a hard time coming up with stuff for this too. I tried to look for symmetrical items with a little bit more straight or tailored lines and less frills. Yeah, this dress is pretty symmetrical and has a good, a very sharp V-neck, and I think that suits me a little better. This top really threw me off because, again, one of the things with classics is you're supposed to wear like very symmetrical and tailored items. Maybe this is a little bit too untailored because it's like a really cheap blouse, but I chose it for this because of the contrasting line straight down the middle and the symmetrical pockets, but I actually really don't like the symmetry of the pockets. It feels like too symmetrical to the point where it's almost, I don't know how to describe why I think it's too symmetrical on me. I don't like it. Again, I was like 98% sure I was not soft gamine, but I wanted to rule it out. I feel like this top could work for several different type families though, so I don't know if this is a good example, but it has that high neckline and I really love this neckline on myself. So that didn't clarify anything. I really like this dress. The silhouette would be a good classic silhouette because it's very simple and symmetrical. I chose it for soft gamine because of the embroidery detail and the slightly higher neckline. So I think this one looks pretty okay on me. I think it almost looks a smidge too delicate for me. This dress screams soft gamine to me because of the Peter Pan collar and just the like short cutesiness of it. Again, I don't think it looks horrible on me, but it's not my favorite either. I think I like this dress just because it's a style that I like, but it definitely looks a little bit too girlish on me. That's just Peter Pan collars. Me and Peter Pan collars don't get along, and that makes me really sad. Again, I was pretty sure I could rule out soft gamine from that as well. Ironically, I had a lot of trouble coming up with outfits for this that weren't like too similar to the ones I already put together. I included this romper that I altered last summer because I just felt like it's very, I can't explain why I feel like this is a flamboyant gamine item. I just feel like it is. This is an outfit that I wore a couple times last summer. It's a high-waisted linen pant that's cropped at the ankle and then this slightly cropped white blouse. I don't know, I just felt like this would be a quintessential flamboyant gamine outfit. And then just a short, kind of boxy, color-blocked dress. I actually prefer to wear this with like a cropped jacket over it. This is not my favorite dress, but I do like it on me. I was still a little bit confused after doing all these outfits, but I was feeling a little bit more confident in selecting flamboyant gamine as my best fit, but apparently I am 1 inch too tall. I was mentally getting ready to film this video, and then I thought, let me check out the Kibbe subreddit. And it's there that I learned that the height restrictions are stricter than I thought. Mr. Kibbe might be the only man I have ever heard of to argue that size does matter. All right, bro, it's your system. So I submitted a photo to the Kibbe subreddit and said, hey, help. These new height requirements that I'm finding out about kind of throw me off. I typically prefer flamboyant gamine lines, and most of the people that commented said,
you look like you're probably dramatic classic, you seem pretty well balanced overall.
Which was kind of surprising to me because I feel like my torso is so freaking long compared to my limbs, but I guess dramatic classic was what seemed to fit the best in their eyes, and that's fine. I guess that just means I'll have to wait until osteoporosis sets in to be the flamboyant gamine that I feel like I am in my soul. But I think my favorite response was someone who just said,
if you feel your best in flamboyant gamine lines, then just dress in flamboyant gamine lines. Types be damned.
Watch your profanity.
Thank you, stranger. that is exactly the type of energy I think that we all need to have about this type of thing. Which brings me to the end of my Kibbe journey and why I'm just gonna leave it as is. I'm content being a maybe dramatic classic who likes to dress flamboyant gamine. There doesn't always seem to be consensus, so who cares? Even with celebrities who Mr. Kibbe himself has verified as one type or another, people will still go back and forth arguing why they are or aren't that type, and people will even say like, hey, only you can prevent forest fires. Only you can know your type yourself. You are the only one who knows your body fully, so only you can determine what makes you feel your best. I've also kind of come to the same place that I did with seasonal color analysis, which is looking into it too much further is just going to become more confusing than it is helpful. That's when you need to just take a break, take a step back from it. With seasonal color analysis, I kind of maybe determined that I'm probably a soft autumn, somewhere in the autumn family. I just got to the point where that was good enough. So being probably a dramatic classic, good enough. That still has helped me narrow down the things that I feel best in and the things that will suit me the best. And I don't know, I just start thinking about like how unique people are as individuals. You can't possibly squeeze everyone into one of 10 boxes. The balance of yin and yang is going to be so different in its makeup for each individual person. I think this is a really helpful tool for guiding you toward finding your individual style and things that work for you, but it's just a tool. I've learned the majority of what's going to be helpful for me, and I don't really feel the need to like deep dive into it anymore, but I do want to emphasize the positives that I have taken away from this, because there are a lot. I think Mr. Kibbe did a great job of creating a body typing system that was so much more comprehensive than what was already commonly in use before him, and then a lot of people have built off of his system as well that are doing really unique and creative things to help people look and feel their best. But I think my biggest takeaway from learning about the Kibbe ID system was just learning what to avoid. And I think honestly that's half the battle.
And knowing is half the battle.
When it comes to figuring out your personal style and what looks best on yourself. And with the Kibbe system, I've learned that really like soft, very romantic lines, very yin stuff is a no-go for me. It's actually really helpful to be able to say no to certain items of clothing. It has nothing to do with being negative about my body and saying, oh, my body wouldn't look good in that because my body's not good enough. It's saying, no, those clothes are not good enough for my body because they don't complement me. It's also helped me pay attention to why certain things do or don't suit me. Like before, if a top just didn't look that good on me, I couldn't tell you why. And paying attention to the lines of clothing and the lines of my body and how they interact, I don't know, it's really helpful. So knowing now what I typically need to avoid and knowing a little bit more what suits me, being able to articulate why certain lines of clothing do or don't work for me, has also helped me shop less and shop more intentionally for clothing, and that's huge. So in a weird way, it actually has helped me continue with moving toward slow fashion. I think also over this past week, being on the Kibbe subreddit and just gathering up all my information for this video, I've started to kind of think differently about the system as a whole and how I approach it, because I'm realizing it's not so simple as just pinpointing your little box that you fit in and that's it. So here, we have our matrix of Kibbe ID types as commonly presented. What typically seems to occur is that an individual will find themselves typed as a certain ID and treat that type as a target and will thus only aim at that target. What I am proposing is more akin to the crazy conspiracy theorist with a bunch of string in newspapers. So if dramatic classic is what I am typed as, and that is my primary target, rather than making that my only target, I am also going to pinpoint other types in which I may voyage. So I like to voyage into flamboyant gamine. I also might dip my toe into soft classic if I'm feeling sassy. Additionally, I like to wade knee-deep into natural territory from time to time. So with my points established on my matrix, I will take a thread. Struggle with said thread for 3 minutes. And now that I have sloppily connected those points, I have my blob of typage. in which to play with my fashion choices. Because truthfully, looking at this as a linear scale in which yin exists on one end and yang exists on the other end does not fully encapsulate the possibilities of the human body. If we have that existing on one plane, then on the vertical plane perhaps we would have the gamines versus naturals with the delicate versus strong bones type, and then we need to add another dimension. Why do I feel like this is starting to get into like a Steins Gate spin-off? Excuse me, I need to go microwave my bananas. So by treating my ID type as more like a center point that I can kind of expand out from in different directions a little bit, I think that allows for more freedom and, you know, more individual customization of your personal style rather than saying,
this is my box and I have to stay in my box.
because no one likes that. No one likes being put in a box. So I am grateful that this system exists. If anyone out there is really confused or just getting hung up on this stuff, take a step back from it. Remember that it doesn't matter that much. It's nothing they're gonna put on your tombstone, so don't worry about it. I guess I just want to make this to say, don't get discouraged, don't get too hung up on it, because your body and your individual makeup is so unique that no one body typing system can tell you how to dress. A couple things that have really helped me out over the last year with narrowing down what clothes do or don't flatter me is, surprisingly, this YouTube channel. Because I have filmed myself in a lot of different outfits, it kind of creates almost like a objective distance from myself. So having a little bit of objective distance through taking pictures or short video clips of yourself in different outfits can really help you get some perspective on what may or may not look good. And also with items that you're not sure about, maybe you have taken some pictures and videos and you're still not sure, wear that item out for a day. Wear it to work or out to run errands, because a lot of times actually existing in an item of clothing is a lot different than posing for a picture in it. It's very different. No need to leave any angry comments about how I misunderstood the system or I got my type totally wrong, because I don't care. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna make up my own type. I'm a flamboyant classic. So this has been your friendly neighborhood flamboyant classic with a woodland sprite essence. I will see you next time. Bye!